It's your favorite time of the week. It's time for Doubling Down, where not only do we talk about the daily double that we are going to give you the winning picks for, maybe it's a tough one, race 5 and race 6 at Churchill on Saturday. We're also going to talk about what I termed the race of the year on Monday with Vinny when we did our preview.
Absolutely.
We've gotten some scratches out of that field. We'll see if Sean still thinks it's the race of the year. It's the Stephen Foster, and we will give you our picks in that main event for Saturday. Stick tuned right here with us as we dive into these exciting races. He's back with us, Sean Patrick Nolan, the one and the only. Spin, thanks for returning, as Vinny is just on a hiatus now. He's a big basketball player. So
Yeah. He's trying out the NBA draft was this week, so he's trying to show some scouts, for next year that he can still get in the game.
He thinks he's still got it. He thinks he's still got it. So on this
Yeah,
episode,
yeah,
we will talk about race 5 and 6 because I thought that there was a lot of different angles and different value that you could look at.
yeah.
And for the longest time, especially up until now, we focused on the 3-year-olds. So it kind of forces us into what races we want to pick. And you can't always get the best value when you do that. So I'd like to talk about
Right.
that in a minute. But first, I want to talk to you because our boy Sovereignty returns
Yes.
in race number 11 on Saturday at Churchill Downs. It was a field of 7. We've had some scratches, but the main part of the conversation is you get White Abarrio versus Sovereignty versus Baeza versus Magnitude. Of the big 4, where are you going?
I'm wearing my Junior Alvarado hat. Sovereignty's a monster. He's looked absolutely like a beast. I'm still going with him. I think people forget right now. I think Magnitude has improved as a horse. Obviously, he ran huge but this is his first race off that huge race versus Forever Young. So he definitely has the right to bounce a little bit. But people forget in the Belmont Stakes who was out front. It was Magnitude, who was sitting just kind of off him around the turn, right? And who put him away in the race? Was it Belmont or Travers? Travers. Excuse me. The Magnitude was up front, right? And everyone said, "Oh, here we go, the big rivalry," and he just shut the door on him. I think in this race, because I think White Abarrio is going to have to move a little bit earlier, with Magnitude on the lead with a shorter field. If White Abarrio has to make that move, Sovereignty can just do his little patented, sit close but move. And I just think his kick is more powerful than everybody else. I think Baeza, the problem with him is he comes from so far back in a small field. I don't know if this is an amazing race. The 4 horses just, unbelievable. Who needs a Breeders' Cup when you got these 4? But I'm saying, but no, I think Baeza's too far back. I think Junior can have the luxury. He will not be on the lead this time, I can guarantee you, but he will be closer. And I think when it comes down to kick, he's still faster than everybody. So I'm going with him.
Vinny and I talked about on Sunday, we have Forge Steel and Navajo Warrior, both of the Safi Joseph horses, who we figured would add some early speed into the race, which would, in theory, put some pressure on Magnitude, which would set it up better for a horse like Sovereignty. Those two come out of the race, which now you do have to be a little concerned about the pace of the race. Now,
Yeah.
I agree with you with Sovereignty versus Magnitude. I would take Sovereignty as well. But as we played that out in our thoughts on Sunday, the fact that these would be the two that maybe press Magnitude, and that's why Sovereignty could step up. I could see a scenario where Magnitude kind of gets out there comfortably and goes wire to wire. Do you think that could be a possibility?
Oh, absolutely. Who?
Magnitude?
Sovereignty? Oh, no, Magnitude. Absolutely. Oh, I absolutely see a scenario like that. However, I think Junior's going to do the same exact trip he did, where he was much closer to the pace than anyone ever thought he would be. He's not going to be seven. I don't know where people keep thinking that he's an 8-9 length. The Derby was the one exception. You know what I'm saying? But he can be close. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be 3-4 lengths off. He won't be 7-8 lengths apart where he has to get him. You know what I'm saying? Junior will make sure he has that bullseye right on Magnitude's back. And then can Magnitude do it? Absolutely. He's an improving horse. But coming off that race from overseas, coming back, you know what I'm saying? It'll be interesting to see if he has the oomph to keep up with Sovereignty down the stretch. But he's definitely capable. Absolutely. And so is White Barrio.
Yeah, we use Racelands here on Doubling Down, and one thing that I want to point out is that it actually sees it how you see it. The number 3 early in the race, it has Sovereignty right up front with the 2 and the 6. 6 is out, so now it's just 3 and 2. And at the middle call actually has Sovereignty on the front end slightly there as well. So Racelands agrees with you, Sean, that Sovereignty is going to be a lot more forwardly placed, similar to how he was at Oaklawn. And we're everyone that follows us knows that we are Team Sovereignty through and through. So I will agree with you, and I will put Sovereignty in the winner's circle as well. Because of the scratches in that race, I decided as I looked through which doubles to attack, there's some great races here at
Yeah.
Churchill. I looked at race 9 and 10, or maybe race 8 and 9, and I thought Cornucopian in there, who's 1-1 on the morning line with a 48% win percentage, at least going by race lens, made maybe that double a little tricky. And I wanted to
Yeah.
spice it up. I wanted to say, you know what? We got the app,
Well,
doublingdownshow.com. Let's try to go and catch the leader. And I have to show everybody who the leader is currently, because for me, it is M Sheehan 8, which is my father. My father's on
there
top
you go. Go,
over the
Dad, go.
over the first 2 weeks. Behind Mama 4, who's always at the top, is in second. And these are the new standings that you can get at the new app. We also have a new news section where you can get the latest from Thoroughbred Daily News. It's updated instantly, so anything that happens in horse racing, you can get right there in the app. You swing on over to contests, and that's where you will find race 5 and race 6. Because, Sean, I thought that race 5 and race 6 were really, really tricky. You get full
Yes.
fields, you get a turf, you get a dirt, you get a mile and eighth, you get 7 furlongs. I wanted to throw all the spices at our viewers.
Yes.
And as I went through it, I said, why the hell did I pick these 2 races? Because I'm having a darn time trying to find the winners. So hopefully you can help clear it up for the people as we look at race 5 on Saturday, mile and eighth on the turf, 4-year-olds and up. It's the Anchorage Stakes for fillies and mares. Where did you end up?
Yeah, this was a tricky one, huh? I mean, for sure. I went 4 deep in this race, and I'm throwing the interesting. I'm throwing the outside horse out. And which shows how tough of a race this is.
Mm.
If that would be Stylish Sue with Sharp, the other Joe Sharp horse with the other Ortiz, Jose Ortiz. I went with the one here, Warming. Grand Motion, John Velasquez, has never run at Churchill Downs, but this horse has always run solid races. Did lose to a Stylish Shoe, but that was on Polytrack, so I'm not even throwing that in. And she's run some good races that I think would make her more than playable in this type of spot. Johnny V takes over, and the last 2 starts, Johnny V's done very good with her, including that Gallarette, which I thought was a bumped and still won. So it's a new track for Grand Motion. I think you have to throw her in the double. I used the 6, Just Basking, Ian Wilkes, Christian Torres. Okay, this horse came in first in the Very One and third in the Orchid. Okay, is anyone hotter right now than Ian Wilkes? I mean, the man is on fire. He has Burnham Square is like an absolute monster of monsters right now on the turf, right? This guy is young. He's 5 years old, but his career is just starting on the turf. 1 win out of 3, but I just feel like this guy is doing is turning the right corner, and I think at 6-1, this guy has to be used at a price. Pin Up Betty, Michael Baker gets Flavian Pratt. I'm going to throw that last race completely out. Stock the winner ass. I don't think he wants to be close. I don't know why he had him close. If you look at all his great races in the Anchorage and the Mint Julep last year, he was off the pace. I think Flavian's going to stop uh, close the closeness, and he'll have him far back and do one of those patented moves. And Pinup Betty should be right there at the end. And then Viv Wave, Joe Sharp, Irad Ortiz, coming off a dirt race, interesting, which he won last time. But and again is in the Cardinal here again. But he gets Irad. I like again. This is a horse that I see coming from behind, not from the front. I don't think he liked being very close there in the Cardinal, and I think this is a horse that you, with Joe Sharp having two horses, he's not putting them in here just for uh, a chance. So I think he's the pick. So I'm 1, 6, 8, 9, and chucking the 10.
I love it. I am nervous about you using the one and me not. That was the horse I was going back and forth on. I thought that that one absolutely looks competitive in here. Love the connections of Graham and Johnny V. Ultimately, I decided to leave off because I felt like my ticket was getting a little expensive as I tried to get through the second leg, which I also went deep in. And when you're putting together doubles, you have to make decisions that, could make you a loser. And if you watch this show, a lot of those decisions end up being incorrect for me. Chip Honcho, who, if Vinny was here, would be giving it
Oh,
to me last week for leaving him off my ticket, which I'm still not bitter about, although it will be one I talk about for a long time. But you have to make those decisions when it comes to doubles and keeping your tickets a little affordable. So I had the same tough decision between the 8 and the 9 because I have a 5-2 horse in the 9 with Irad aboard, who I know is going to take money. And then the number 8 is 7-2 with Pratt aboard. I ended up landing on using this 8 pinup Betty.
yeah,
I would put her on top, but it's not very comfortable of a choice for my on top horse here because I really did have a tough time. What I ultimately gravitated towards, I will share my race lens for you because one thing I've shown everybody that I point out is that it'll highlight for me races that, at least according to purse, are
yeah,
comparable or more than today's purse. It's just a visual for me to look quickly and say, is this horse been running in races that are at least comparable to today? And you could see that the last 6 races are all highlighted yellow. You have some in there that are blue, which is the highest class rating in the field. Now, granted, that was going back to last year. You mentioned how the horse won this race last year. We all know that I love trainers that bring horses back off of winning the same race the previous year.
yeah,
But what also jumped out to me, Sean, is going the mile and then the eighth. I like the fact that the horse is 3 for 6 at the distance and 4 for 9 on the turf at Churchill.
yeah.
That
Loves both.
ultimately became a little bit of a deciding factor between the 8 and the 9 for me when I had to decide between those two. And so that's what I ended up using is your number 8 pinup Betty for me on top. I used another one. I decided to go to the number 3, Way to Be Marie.
Vitamin Marie, yeah,
Horse is sired by Not This Time, who I immediately have attraction to when I see on the card. Horse hasn't won on the Churchill Downs turf, but is 1 for 2 at the distance. Has raced 3 times this year, got the win off the bench, came back in the grade 3, finishing third. That was at Keeneland before finishing third again behind Arya Stark and Venencia in the Kirtana Stakes. Felt like that was a pretty competitive spot for the horse. I like Luis Saez still being aboard. And what I liked most was the 8-1 price.
yeah.
This was a horse that Vinny had texted that he's high on, and when I took a second look, it was one that I was interested in. Well, I think the horse will be forwardly placed and can kind of have that first run
Sure.
at the group. And that's kind of how Raceland started as well. A horse that's forwardly placed, slipping a little bit to the 8 and the 10 as they get towards the middle, but ends up in that second spot on the win percentage at Racelands at 16%.
To
So
my
at 8
one.
to 1, I felt like the value was there to maybe throw Way to Be Marie on my ticket. And those will be the two that I will try to get through here, the 3 and the 8. Hopefully it's the 8 because then we will both move on to leg 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of leg two, I first want to mention to all of you out there that if you're watching this on Wednesday or Thursday, it's your last chance to get 40% off all unlimited subscriptions. The offer ends June 25th. If you're watching this on Saturday, you've already missed it. Use the promo code SUMMER40 to get that discount over at Racelens. We're going to take a quick timeout here on Nessa Nation, and when we come back, we are going to walk through race 6. If you're watching on YouTube, don't go anywhere because we are back right now. Race 6, Sean, is the second leg of our daily double, a field of 12, and once again for me, lots of trouble trying to get my way through this one, but I feel like I landed in a pretty good spot. Uh where did you go in here? You decided to only use 2, and I know why you used the first horse on your ticket.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking two ways here. Okay. When I put my ticket together here. Okay. Number one, Mother Nature may not be kind to us here,
That's right. Yeah, it's
and
supposed to
Mother
rain.
Nature is not kind to us. We need a horse that maybe could get in there and get some damage done there if it's sloppy track here. And it all goes to me through the 8. Bring the smoke. Uh, uh, Whitworth Beckman and Tyler Gaffilione. This horse beat Fuss, just lost the senior officer in a great race, an allowance at Keeneland. I thought that was one of the best. Previously trained by my friend Lacey Gaudet, who did a fabulous job. And I just think this horse is getting bigger and better. And I just think he's sitting. He got Taya back up for the third time. I just think this horse is sitting on a big effort here versus this group. And even in the grade 3, he showed got that win. It was so impressive. I don't know if you saw it. I had it. He's out of preservations, by the way,
There you go.
and which makes me love him even more. But just the move that he made, Tyler got him off the rail and just came flying on the outside and looked so impressive just to get up. I think this horse is learning to be a racehorse, and I think this horse is going to be a monster going forward. So I really love this horse, and I almost thought of singling him, but then I looked down the PPs, and all of a sudden I got down to my buddy Junior Alvarado. No, I'm not picking this because Junior's my guy, and Norm's my one of my favorites. Look at this horse, Echo again, 458 wet. If there's, this is why I'm putting him in. If there's wet, he's won on Churchill Downs on a wet track. He came in third to General Partner at Saratoga on the wet fast. Lost to Moonlight and not this boy. Three very talented horses. If this ground gets even muddy or sloppy, I think this horse is going to be making a major move. And I just threw him in. I almost wanted to single the 8, but in case it's muddy, I'm throwing the 11 in, and I think he'll make a major move if it's muddy.
I love it. I used the 8 as well. And when I handicapped, I said, I wonder if Sean's going to use this preservationist baby. And
Yes.
how could I even ask myself if I thought Sean was going to use the preservationist baby? But I didn't pick the horse because of that reason.
No, I
Uh,
did not either. I
but
did not either.
and you mentioned that reason as last, which I was impressed. I thought that was going to be the first thing to come out of your mouth, and I would have rang the
Nope.
bell. But nope, you had some other reasons in there. The last I checked, the rain does look like it'll be mostly in the morning, finishing up around 1 o'clock. It depends on how much they get, obviously, which will impact the course. So just pay attention to that, and maybe if you get some wet track, you double down on number 8. Bring the smoke. What about the distance? 7 furlongs. This horse has raced at 6 furlongs 4 times. We talk about a lot of times on this show and you over on the lounge and Trust the Profits. 7 furlongs is a unique distance. It's not really
It
a route.
is.
It's really not a sprint. So usually when I'm handicapping these races, I try to find horses that have had some success either at 7 furlongs or half a furlong shorter or longer. That's kind of like where I like to try to find my
Sure.
horses to determine if I'm going to use them or not. So this horse has raced 4 times at 6 furlongs. What I did was jumped into Racelands. You can go over to the sire. You can specifically say, I want to know how preservationists are at today's exact distance and surface. I apply that. I'm not sharing the right screen. Here it comes. Did not scare me away at all.
Nope.
67 starts, 11 wins, 16% win percentage, 13 positive ROI.
Yep.
That to me did not make me jump ship and made me intrigued by both the fact that the horse had some success over the wet track. I also looked at the stats of the post positions for 8. I'm going to use the 8, 9, and 10 here.
Yep.
At the distance on this track, that's kind of where you want to be. You want to be in that 8, 9, 10 positioning. 2, 3, 4 have some success as well.
Yep.
And then looking at the entire field, the 2 Vacoma for today's exact distance and surface is actually hitting at 28%. So the Vacomas
That's amazing. Yeah.
run really well at the 7% as well. But actually, the whole field, I mean, aside from the 6, who's only 9% going by the sire,
Yeah, everyone's
uh,
pretty solid.
they're all pretty solid. But when I looked at the number 9, uh, I love the jockey change here to Irad. I love Irad jumping aboard this horse, who's had a lot of trouble. What I see, came off
Yep.
the bench March 26th, tried the turf, finished 6th behind Mick Raven. So to me, it's a turf race. First off the bench, we'll take that out. Second time, runs at Keeneland and loses the rider. So you don't get the finishing position there. Then runs fourth behind him. I like him. I think him is a solid horse.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't
And
think that that's
gunmetal.
terrible.
Yep.
Then runs another third behind Gunmetal, but you could see the trouble there, altered out, was bumped around. So 2 out of the 3 races had some issues and was still able to put together back-to-back high equibase speed figures of 101. To me, that means
Yep.
this horse is going to improve, and you're adding Irad Ortiz at 6-1. Very attractive to me to use Keep It
Yeah.
Easy.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, my model actually had this number 10 Dive Bomber on top.
Uh-huh.
So to me, I couldn't ignore that. And when I looked into it and saw that he was 4 for 4 in the money at the distance, so a win, a second, and 2/3, 15-1. Christian Torres, 2 back, he gets a 104 Equibase speed figure over a muddy track at Churchill Downs. So
Yep.
basically
Sure.
everything that you mentioned, both from the track, the distance, and the possible surface, he was in that same race, and I thought he held up pretty nicely. And actually,
Yeah.
if you go 3 back in the past performances, you'll notice Forged Steel, the horse that we talked about,
Yeah.
who's scratching out of the Stephen Foster. So I wanted to use a couple prices in here. So those are the 2 that I determined to be prices, and I like Tyler on the number 8, Bring the Smoke, as well. What'd you think? Did you have any interest in the 9 or the 10? Did they pique your interest at all, or were you just 8 and done?
Yeah, no, I thought both showed value. I just where I'm using 4 in the first race. I don't want to load up too heavy on the second race and make my double look. You know, and obviously if you win, you're a genius. But you know what I'm saying. But I tried to keep my precise as I could. I did definitely consider the 9. Shout out to Corey Lannery, who's retiring. A huge thing for IRED. And Dive Bomber, yeah, absolutely. Again, if it's the wet, he'll definitely appreciate that. 4 for 6 in the money, including 2 wins. With Corey and Aaron Shorter having a very good meet, 3 for 15 with 3/3. So so both are very playable horses. I just didn't want to have my cart double too full, if you will.
Makes sense. We'll take a look at our ticket. I'm going to use the 3-8 with the 8-9-10. Sean is going to use the 1-6-8-9 with the 811. It'll cost him $8, and my ticket will cost you $6. This is for Saturday, June 27th at Churchill Downs, races 5 and 6. Sean, you made it through another episode of Doubling Down. Let's hope that we can find those winners on Saturday. Are you going to have the lounge this Thursday night?
Yes, we are. Yeah, and again from Churchill Downs. Exactly. So we will maybe a preview. Try to see, tune in, check out some track biases, see how it's playing. That's often a good indicator to see how we're doing for the weekend. Obviously, Thursday and Saturday can be different, but it's always a good indicator to kind of see, watch some races and see how. I mean, we can't show them. I'm just saying, follow the races and see how the track's playing, especially if you have a favorite horse on Saturday. Kind of see how their trip can be affected by that.
They do a great job. You can bet the races live with them. That's Thursday night over on Trust the Profits right here on YouTube. A friend of our show. Vinny will hopefully be back next week. I'm heading off to Hershey Park with the kids for the weekend. So
Love it.
the up,
Chocolate for everybody.
the updates will be sparse, but I will get the results into the app. So head on over to doublingdownshow.com and get your picks in. And I may have some exciting sponsors coming up in July for Saratoga. So stay
Ooh.
tuned for that news. Right now, we're just testing the app. It's called the preseason. We'll bring the prizes back. I promise to you. Until next time, he's Sean and I'm Colin. Good luck, everybody.